We're live
We are.
and we're not laughing.
No. Give it a minute.
I don't think there's a time
Just
you
give it a
can
minute.
actually come on and not laugh.
Well, that's good, and I think that's what people are looking for.
I mean, that's like almost all the time.
It is all the time, because we're always having fun. Right?
Yes. Yes, we are.
And we work harder at our fun.
Than we do at our work, which actually is our work.
It is actually. I don't think people
I
realize
mean, if
that.
people really followed us around, they'd be like, what the hell do you guys do? When do you work?
All the time.
But it's like, yeah, I mean, yeah.
But it's fun all the time. I don't know, creating, talking to people, seeing what they're looking for, being innovative with our thoughts.
Ooh, innovative. What's
Yeah.
today's subject?
Innovation.
Oh, yes. So hopefully too many people are not battered and bruised from yesterday, because both of us came at you kind of hard yesterday. But you know what? In the business world and even in the coaching world, I mean, when I was coaching football, the players I had out on the field, I wasn't, we didn't sit around some freaking oak tree holding hands singing Kumbaya.
Mm-hmm.
I coached them.
Right.
I loved them. I respect them, but I coached them.
Well, sometimes the fastest way to learn it is to jump right in, right?
If you're going to build a championship team, you have to build a championship team, which means things are going to be a little rough, but it was for their own good.
But you're doing it from a place of compassion and love.
Which we are coming from a place of compassion and love when we talk to you guys. So, please, I hope nobody ever takes us for being pompous asses, because we're not. We just really care. And it says it actually on a piece of our website. In some of the content, it actually talks about how we're just sick and tired of people not living at their greatness.
Yeah.
And that's, this is why we do what we do. This is why we come on and do these lives and give you these little nuggets, is because we're hoping that these nuggets will be taken and transformed into you having a better business, or you being a better father, or you being a better mother, or you being a better student, or you being just better. So innovation in business, you got to be constantly innovating. If you don't, you die.
I was just going to say that. It's evolve or die, learn or die in anything. If you're not moving forward and being a part of the change that's happening.
Prime example, COVID-19. Who the hell would have thought that we'd be in a pandemic and we'd have stay-at-home orders and we were going to be shut down?
Yes.
Who would have thunk, right?
We didn't. I didn't. Nobody
did.
So
the companies that are in constant innovation, guess what? They didn't miss a beat. Yep. It was no big deal for them. They're like, oh, okay. They know how to adapt because they're always in this mode of constant innovation. It's almost like you should have an innovation team that meets on a regular basis, that sits and draws on whiteboards.
I don't know what that's like.
Constantly, because business has to be ever evolving, and the only way to ever evolve a business is through constant innovation. I mean, you just, even as a person, you should be constantly innovating yourself.
And I think maybe, I know for me, where I first really was introduced to the absolute stubbornness of being the opposite of innovative, being the opposite completely of just, this is the way we've always done it, so we're good with this space, was with the Marine Corps League. And, coming out here and being a part of veteran whatever, and you see the best for other people and you want to make their environment better, and you come in with ideas, and that's what innovation is. It's something that nobody's ever done before, or not had the gumption enough to try it. And so when you go in front of people, first of all, be ready for opposition. Because when things are new, people get afraid. People are afraid of something that they've never done before, which is totally normal. That is a normal reaction. The other part is being able to sell that. So you can come in with a better idea. I don't know how many meetings I've been to where there's a complainer in the room. Everybody, you know, they're going to complain about something that didn't go right, but they come with nothing to add to it. Nothing innovative, nothing new, nothing to say, you know, we did it wrong the first time, let's try this maybe. They just come in, bitching and complain, and then it didn't work out. But, you know, let's keep doing that. Let's just keep doing it. Maybe it'll change. I don't know. I think they call that
That's
something.
the definition of insanity.
Thank you. Yes.
Doing the same thing over and over and over and over, expecting a different result.
Yeah. And I love all of them. Do not get me wrong. I love them all. And they did really, really good things in their time. And however, when you don't shift, when you don't think about who else do I need to be contacting? Who else needs what I have? How can I make somebody's life better? How can I raise more money? How can I
expand my company?
Thank you. I was just going to say that. How can I come up with something maybe that people want? How do I solve a problem? How do I fix their pain point?
How about we talk about how we do it?
How we do it? Well, that whiteboard
Well, yeah, I
behind
mean,
us.
we sit here and we talk and
Yeah.
and tell people, right? We're sharing ideas, but
Right.
you know, literally, we do what Tony Robbins calls a brain dump.
Yes.
And we grab a whiteboard and we just start. Blah.
And nothing is a bad idea. Nothing.
And
there's no bad combinations. There's nothing is off limits. Throwing it out, getting it all off the brain, and then
we just spout it. We're throwing everything up on this whiteboard, and there's a magic in that because when you're just throwing it all up there, and I don't know if Kim does this on purpose, but when she does it, it's like, it's not true chunking where they all fit in the certain blocks on the board, right? But for some reason, when she draws it out and puts it all out there, she's not just going list form. It's just all over the place. And for some reason in my brain, I'm able to see that and be able to then chunk it. So I don't know if you do that on purpose or whatever, but for some reason, my brain, when you did that yesterday, I mean, we had a board filled and nothing made sense.
No.
If you would have walked in, you would have been like, what the hell is that?
What is that?
But in my brain, because I'm very strategic, it was like, oh yeah. And everything chunked. And then we were able to really progress today because of that. But again, we were back on the board.
Yeah.
And we were a little bit more systematic with today.
Yeah.
But it was still throwing it out there because of what we're trying to create through our innovation. And honestly, like, we were trying to solve a question that we've been asking ourselves for weeks yesterday. And that turned out to something else, along with 4 other ideas for 4 other. So it's like, that's innovation. So we didn't lose anything. We captured it all. We do the whiteboards. And Kim hits record every day when she walks in the office. We record everything we do just for the plain reason we don't want to have to recall on our memory of what was it that you said the other day,
really cool.
or
what did you
how
say?
Was that, or what was that idea that we didn't write down and I didn't take a note. We have it
because we were busy
all.
going, oh my God, it's a great idea.
We have it all recorded. And I would really strongly suggest, obviously, if you have a room full of people that you do this, 4, 5, 6, 12, whatever, you're going to have their permission to do that, to be recorded. But recording them is huge because that's content that is never going to be lost. You can always go back, you can find stuff, and there's innovation that will come out of just that content. Mm-hmm. So the words that come out of your mouth, we talk about it in our class. They're so powerful.
Yeah.
Well, even in business, when you're trying to innovate and you're trying to do meetings, which, obviously you want to do the fastest meetings possible, man, record those things because you're losing so much information if you're not. No one around that table can dictate or write onto a piece of paper in your so-called minutes of the meeting that is going to make sense, or you can't summarize a really good meeting.
No.
You got to have it in full.
Yeah.
Because you're yeah.
And the other part of doing this, what we do when we brain dump like this, is it allows for creativity just to flow naturally. So everything that we've created is very organic. It's come from conversations. It's come from something that we read or heard that morning, because Fritz and I, in our innovation, we have to be coachable too. And we have to be accountable to somebody else, letting us, allowing us or helping us to have clarity every day on what we're going for, because the world is going to come against you. It's especially going to come against you if you're developing something that nobody's ever seen before. And I think people give up. I know that people give up way too fast. And I do not speak from a high place. I have been the person that had really great ideas and intentions and just decided that maybe I wasn't good enough to do that. Maybe I wasn't smart enough. Maybe I didn't have the resources enough. And we've talked about every single one of these in every video that we do. Everything that we come to you with, every idea, innovation, people, adaptation, anything, it's because we've walked in it. We are open books to what we are doing. There's a reason why we come on here every day without a script, because we want you to feel the authenticity that we bring when we develop. This is what works for us. There are many other ways that you can do this. You can do this even if you're by yourself. If you want to write a book, if, I don't know, you want to develop your own company. You have so many things going on as you're reading and prepping and getting ideas. Constantly have something with you to write down your ideas in there. Don't limit yourself. Don't limit the people in the room. Don't say, oh, that's never going to work. Don't never say that, because that could be the one thing that helps to put together a mission statement by looking at it differently, changing the words. You don't know what the meaning may carry for somebody else. So don't limit other people. Don't prejudge what they're going to say. Don't come into a meeting going, oh, great, well, we have to develop something. This is going to be hard. Or Joe is going to show up and not really have any really good ideas, whatever, because you're bringing that attitude in, and it will crush creativity.
That's judgment. We talked about that too.
It'll crush all the good things that you want to come out of that. So allow yourself, come into it with a kid-like sense of play, and just write stuff on the board, because it's really powerful. And a lot of times when you're doing it, it's not going to make sense. You're just going to be throwing stuff on the board. It's just like what he said when we were throwing all of those things on the board to develop a course. Nothing made sense as we were throwing it up there, but it all sounded really cool. When we're saying it, it sounded really cool. And you put it up on the board and you have a million things on this board and nothing makes sense. If you could, one of these days, we will show a picture of what that first real brain dumping session was, because I think that would be really powerful.
Oh,
because
for sure.
There are lines, arrows connecting, and only the people in the room know what that order is. But it was really cool to walk through that, and you leave out of a meeting like that with such a high for what you're doing, because even though in the beginning it feels reckless and completely out of control and kind of stupid, because your brain's just, you're just throwing ideas. But at the end of the day, when you put it all together and your brain is just, when you're mentally exhausted and you left it all on the court, you may not have shown up at the top of your game, but when you leave after doing something like this and coming together with the people that you work closest with, it gives you a whole new high.
Yeah.
It gives you almost an ability to be endlessly creative.
Yes.
It never stops, because one great idea, you open up pathways in your brain that your body, your mind loves that. That's its playground. That's what it was designed to do. was to create, to be innovative, to look at problems and solve them. That's what we're supposed to do. But yet we're sitting in buildings right now or at home on Zoom talking about the same shit we've been talking about for months, when you're supposed to be being creative and being in that room together and having that energy. And when we finally were able to sit at the same table,
Thank God.
even through COVID, we were sitting at the same table because we were not going to let that, as serious as it was, keep us from this, because we truly know that this is life-changing for so many people that are waiting to hear that they're not the only ones pushing out there for something better. We believe in your greatness. We are so tired of having the conversations with people that have something amazing in them and they just don't see it.
And it's amazing how many of those people are of a decent success level.
Oh my gosh,
it's not
yes.
people
Yes.
that are in strife. I mean,
Right.
this is people that have their shit together.
Yep. That are
But
really
don't.
successful,
It's
but they're not.
It's crazy
Yeah.
to me, but that just goes to show that so much out there is needed.
It is, and we'll continue forever until the good Lord takes us home. We
And
will continue to do this.
The cool thing about what, this whole innovation thing and talking about the creativity and playing in that world and using the boards and journaling and, the thing about that is when you come around a table and to do a session like that, they always say death and taxes are a guarantee, right? Well, there's one other guarantee in business. Actually, it's a guarantee in life. You are going to have adversity.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is when you're in these innovative states and you're in these creative states, you're actually finding ways to solve problems. So you're creating a solution-based thinking. And when you create a solution-based thinking, you're actually creating an endurance within yourself to tolerate more adversity coming at you so that you can remain at an even keel, so that you have ways and solutions to overcome the adversity because you're being trained. So not only are these about innovating, but you're actually training your core people, your leadership team, on how to be solution-based, because the only reason you're innovating and creating on a whiteboard is because there's a problem of some nature. That doesn't have to be negative, but there's something that you're trying to create out of nothing or something or overcome something. And you're actually conditioning yourself and your leadership team on how to be very solution-based thinking, because that's what innovation really is solving problems.
It is, and I think sometimes people have a hard time. This innovation piece is it's creative, right? It's a
fun place to
creative
play.
thing. And some people are not built that way. Some people that, I want my spreadsheets and I want my black and whites and I want to just leave me alone and I'm fine. And then you have other people that are like, get out the freaking colors. We're gonna get the craft book out. No, I'm not the craft book. No. But the colors.
It's right there.
No, it's not. That's not a craft book. It's a gigantic marker and watercolor pad. It's totally different. Back to what I was saying is, sometimes you have to persuade people like that, that are like, well, I'm just here for another meeting. Whatever, I guess we're going to talk about innovation. You are going to have those people. And it's only because they're usually afraid of not being creative enough or being shamed or just truly straight up not enjoying it at all. And I would suggest maybe trying something like an icebreaker. Something on the board.
What would you do for an icebreaker?
A general question. Well, if I told you what it was, then everybody would know what it was. And it's a really cool icebreaker.
Well, give them the nugget.
So it's about perception. gosh, how can I even talk about this without giving it away? It's a game on a piece of paper and it's a sentence. And in that sentence, there are certain things that the person that knows the game will say. Everybody is getting a different piece of paper, right? And you have to find something on this little piece of paper and you have to circle them, circle. And then at the end of that, you ask how many people circled 15, and people raise their hand. And how many found or circled 20? Well, then you get people looking at each other and they're like, I found 15, how'd you find 20? Well, they must have a different piece of paper. So then the instructor says, the answer is, there's actually 25. And even though you all think that you got different pieces of paper, you all have the same paper. And there are actually 25 of said thing in the same sentence, but everybody's perception is different.
That would be a good icebreaker.
It's a great icebreaker.
Or.
You have one?
No.
Oh, what?
But.
Yeah.
We're on innovation, right?
Yeah.
We talk about leadership teams. How exactly? So why wouldn't you, as the elite leadership team, have the fun and the creativity to create something like that around something you may want to actually be solving?
Yes.
Start priming them and come up with your own question or your own game to get them going, to open them up, to make them feel comfortable in an uncomfortable situation.
Yeah.
Because the more comfortable we get with uncomfortable, the greater gains and the greater business you're going to have.
And that
was a good nugget right there.
It's really incredible off of what you said, is because 90% of the time you're going to bring people together that are not used to doing that.
Exactly.
They're not used to doing that. And they're going to be really reserved and not ready. And then when you create that space of safe, I'm safe here, I'm safe to be creative, I'm safe to be silly. We are taught for so long that we're not allowed to be silly after a while. You know, only little kids are allowed to dream and be silly, right? But get a group of adults that have life, that have children, that have all of those things, and you allow them to be in that creative space and to have fun and to laugh and maybe poke fun at each other. Especially if it's known that no idea is a bad idea. Everything can be something. It'll take your business to the next level. It'll take your creativity to the next level. It'll take your attitude to your coworkers to another level. And in that, there's this bond. There's this appreciation of each other's differences. And that's just another avenue of innovation. It's not just about creating a new company. It's creating a new culture and a new ecosystem that you're working in, just off of something as simple as an icebreaker.
You know, I had an idea.
Okay.
You know, we keep talking about these boot camps.
Yeah.
And this boot camp we're
I
creating.
don't think that they know all that.
So, you know, we have this one room we talked about.
Yep.
What about a fun house?
I want to go there.
For those that forgot how.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Because I know we have a lot of people on here that probably forgot how. And that's an important piece.
It is
To
important.
innovation, to creativity.
Look at us innovating.
I know.
What?
Live.
Live.
See, that's how that shit happens.
you just-
right there.
You just walked right in. Welcome to Innovation Station.
That's why this one is so powerful. And the cool thing is, let's for a brief moment, because I know we're at businesses this week, but let's for a brief moment, let's hop out of that circle of business and let's go just into life, right? You can practice these things in your own life, in your own family. Innovation. I mean, come on, you have family time, you coming out of COVID-19, you've all been cooped up in the same house forever. I've watched the videos of some of the creativity that has happened and the videos that have happened, But I promise you, there's a bunch of people that were sitting on the sidelines or up in the stands watching everybody else play on the field, and they weren't partaking because they forgot how to have fun.
That's right.
So, man,
they want to, they just don't know how to.
Life is all about having fun. Yeah. The harder you are at having fun, the more work you're going to get done.
And that's what we do. That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's why we're always coming on here laughing, because we go live after this. We go live after we do things like that.
We have to. If we were to go live before something like that,
we'd be like,
or they'd be involved in that whole thing, and that would just be insane.
That would be insanity.
They'd be like, huh?
You know, maybe we should have a camera on us, just silent mode, and go through one of those sessions in like a 30-second block. And then
we can do that. We'll have to talk to the marketing person about that.
Our marketing director?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. We should do that. All right. So we're going to let you guys go. Have a great Wednesday. It's beautiful out here. I don't know what it's doing in your neck of the woods, but we, as always, appreciate you and have a lot of gratitude for allowing us to come into your space and be a part of owning your life.
I got a challenge for you today, though. And it's not a personal challenge. I can't say that, but it's not a business related thing. Take a quick second today and just type the words hello to somebody you haven't talked to in a long time and send that text. And you have 5 minutes to do that. Outside of that, we'll see you guys tomorrow. We love you as usual. And we'll be back at it.
Okay.